Hey yo, what is up? Today we are going to look at the Type 59. This tank was on sale recently and we're going to answer the question, is the Type 59 worth it in 2021? Now we are going to watch Audrey Gallagher drive this tank from the Pony clan, and this is a very good player, and you're going to watch this player perform really well in this tank. Now if you look carefully, our friend is running full APCR loadout, and that is the meta for 2021. Now in case you didn't know, this tank was a superstar in 2012 to 2017. This tank was actually overpowered. This tank was the tank that everybody wanted. You couldn't buy this tank. Well, you could buy this tank initially when it first came out in 2012. I can't remember if it was 600 gold or 6,000 gold. I remember seeing it, but I thought nothing of it. I didn't realize how powerful it was, how desirable it was, and for how many years it would dominate the premium tank line scene. Back in the day 2012 to 2016, 2017, there were not a lot of premium tanks that were as good as the Type 59. Back in the day, premium tanks were made to be not as good as Tech 3 tanks, just slightly worse than Tech 3 tanks. All you could do with premium tanks was make a lot of credits and farm a lot of combat and crew XP for your crew. So that was what the purpose of premium tanks were for. But then that all changed when they started introducing newer and stronger tanks like the T44-100 and so forth. But yeah, let's take a look at the stats of this tank, and we'll talk about and we'll go over all the stats and compare it with all the modern tanks, and then we will decide if this tank is worth it in 2021. Now remember, Type 59 is an old tank, so it is not as powerful, I would say, as the new tanks. Type 59 has 185 penetration on standard shells, which is why you see Audrey Gallagher here running full APCR shells, because with full APCR you can get 241 penetration from these from the premium shells. Obviously, if you're going to run premium shells, full premium shells, you're not going to be making a lot of credits in this tank. So if you are after credit making, if you're trying to make credits with a premium tank, this is really not a tank for you to do it in, because 185 standard penetration means a lot of times you cannot pen a lot of tanks. If you compare this to a T44-100, it has 190 penetration. A CS-52 LIS has 208 penetration on the standard shells. Even if you compare it with premium shells, the premium shells on the Type 59 is 241, while the T44-100 is I think 247, and the CS-52 is 252 millimeters of penetration on the premium shells. So in terms of standard shells and premium shells, T44-100 and CS-52 is way better. Horsepower per ton as well. On the Type 59 you have 650 horsepower, power to weight ratio 18.06. It sounds pretty good, but if you compare it with T44-100 and CS-52, it is way below those two tanks. The traverse speed that we have on the Type 59 is 47.98, which is pretty good for a medium tank. But once again, if you are going to compare this with T44-100, T44-100 has more agility, 50.06 degrees per second. It is more agile than the Type 59. What about top speed? Well, top speed on the Type 59 is 56 kilometers an hour, faster than the T44-100, faster than the CS-52. But this comes down to the horsepower and the power to weight ratio. Again, horsepower 650, T44-100 is 760, CS-52 is 720. Therefore, you are going to get the more pickup speed the acceleration on the T44-100 and CS-52 is going to be better than the Type 59, which means those tanks have better agility. The Type 59 is really an old tank. The age is showing. A lot of tanks are outperforming the Type 59 nowadays. How about damage and accuracy? Well, it reloads in 8.05 seconds. T44-100 obviously 7.19 seconds, nearly 1 second quicker. CS-52 is slower by 1 second, 9.20 seconds. But the CS of course does more damage because it has a 320 alpha, while the Type 59 is more similar to the T44-100, 250 alpha damage. Aim time is similar to the T44-100, 1.92. The dispersion, however, 0.37 is really terrible compared to the T44-100, which is 0.34, and the CS is 0.35. Moving dispersions is similar to the T44-100 and CS-52, which is 0.13. That means when you are turning your turret and moving your hull and firing your gun, the accuracy is pretty similar to the T44-100 and CS-52. However, the initial dispersion of 0.37 versus 0.34 in the T44-100 means that the accuracy on this gun is pretty derpy. You miss a lot of your shots. Now, if you look at our friend here, Angela Gallagher, or Amanda Gallagher, I can't remember what their username is. If you look at the spotting circle, the green circle on the minimap, you can see it is not at maximum view range, which means our friend is probably either running improved aim or is running vents instead of optics. In this tank, you typically bring vertical stabilizers, rammer, and then the third slot you either run vents, optics, or improved aim. I can tell you my choice is the bounty improved aim that gives you 8% smaller smaller dispersion, which means from that 0.37 dispersion you can actually get the dispersion down to 0.32 with bounty improved aim, and which is exactly what I've done. And you will get a lot better gun handling and a less derpy gun, a gun that won't just shoot the ground all the time. So I assume that our friend here, Audrey Gallagher, that's her name or his name, is running either the improved aim or the vents, because she does not have the full view range on this tank. Now you can see she has already done 2000 damage and 500 spotting. It is not an easy game. She is down by 3 tanks. The team is down by 2,300 damage, right now down by 1,700 damage. He or she, let's say it's a she, okay, Audrey is a she's doing all the work here, trying to carry the team. They were down by a couple of tanks. Now they've pulled it out to they're about 1 tank away, down by 1 tank, but the HP is still down 2,700. Now it's down 3,000 HP. This is a real mountain to climb. So you can see how tough it is. Even when you are in a Type 59, you need to be firing full APCR shells to be competitive in this tank. It is not a tank where you want to fire standard shells, because 185 penetration is just not going to make it in this tank. And with the kind of dispersions that you get, you're going to miss a lot of your shots. You have to sacrifice your optics. Instead of optics, run vents or run improved aim. That way your gun will not be derpy and it will perform a little bit better. The old meta used to be vertical stabilizers, rammers, and optics. Back in the day, 2012 to 2017, this tank was completely overpowered. There were no tanks that were able to match it competitively. You could bully, you could earn credits, you could fire standard shells and still be very competitive. But in 2021, all the tanks that has been released since 2016-2017, the T44-100, the CS-52, the EBR-75, the Burask, the GSOR, the Object 274. There are the Progetto. There are just so many tanks out there that is just outperforming this tank. The Lorraine, the Somua. There is a bunch of tanks that you could be driving instead of the Type 59 and do a lot better by firing standard shells and earning a lot of credits because they have higher penetration. Just comparing this with the T44-100 and the CS-52, I will say take the T44-100 or the CS-52 any day when they are on sale. Pick those two tanks up. You will fire a lot less premium shells. You just need to fire standard shells and make a lot of credits and still win a lot of your games. I'm not even comparing this with the autoloaders yet, with the Lorraines, with the Burask, with the EBR-75s, with the Progettos. Those tanks are even more competitive than this tank, the Type 59. If you want to get the Type 59 because of its legendary status in this game, if you want this tank for posterity, if you want to collect this tank because you want it in your garage to remember one of the most important tanks in Tier 8, in Tier 8 premiums, or in any Tier 8 tank, the Type 59 set the standard for OP tanks. And if you want to collect that because of its importance in the world of tanks history, yes, go ahead, get a Type 59. It is still a pretty solid tank, but just don't be stubborn and try to fight the whole world with standard AP shells with 185 penetration. If you really want to perform well and get the max performance out of this tank, you need to be firing premium shells. Maybe not 100% of the time, but at least 50-60% of the time, because the standard shells are just that bad. Pretty difficult to get through the side armor of some heavy tanks. If you shoot into the sides, the tracks, it does not pan a lot of the time. So if you want to get this tank for the sake of collecting, for the sake of posterity, to keep something to remember the good old days, yes, this is a great tank to collect. But if you want this tank to get maximum performance, to grind credits, this is not the tank. This tank you do not grind credits. This tank you spend credits and try to have fun and reminisce those days when this game was brand new and this tank was overpowered and the Type 59 was a legend. Today, not so much of a legend, but still a fun tank to play with. Sort of fun. If you're firing a lot of premium shells, it is still sort of fun. As our friend Audrey Gallagher here can attest to, she is doing pretty well. This is a really tough game for me to find on the internet. I'm glad I found it because this was a losing game and she turned it around and made it into a winning game, and it was not easy to get 6,000 damage out of the Type 59 here. Congratulations to Audrey Gallagher, did extremely well in the Type 59. Even though she's firing full APCR shells, you can't call her really a gold noob if you understand how Type 59s work in 2021. They are just not that super competitive in the 2021 meta nowadays, fighting with all the good tanks. A lot of good tanks in the game right now. You need to be firing a lot of premium shells to be competitive, and even to get a 6,000 game out of a Type 59, this is not an easy feat. It is very difficult to do, especially in 2021. So congratulations to Amanda Gallagher. Thank you for the 6,100 game, 500 spotting, 600 blocked. A really good game and an ace tanker with a mastery badge, top gun for 6 kills. over 2064 base XP. Yeah, just an overall really good game. I hope you enjoyed this video and got a little bit of idea on how Type 59 is working in 2021. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again on the next one. Bye bye.